Until you make what's hidden inside you visible, it will keep shaping your life and you'll just call it fate. Let that sit with you for a second. Because the truth is, many of us have been quietly taught a lie. That to be magnetic, to leave a lasting mark on a man's heart, to haunt his thoughts in the best way, you have to show more skin. Send that bold message, play those games, or pretend to be someone else. But let me ask you something. If all of that actually worked, wouldn't you already feel unforgettable by now? You don't need to bare your body to feel powerful. In fact, the most unforgettable kind of seduction often begins long before there's even a single touch. It's in the way your voice lands, the way your energy stays calm and grounded, the way you say something and let silence carry it deeper. What draws a man in isn't just the words, it's the way you make him feel. And today we're stepping into 7 dangerously subtle things you can say or do, not to make him hear you, but to make him feel you. And this isn't about cheesy lines or awkward tricks. These are powerful tools, but only for the woman who truly knows herself. They're not dirty. They're deliberate. They belong to the kind of woman who doesn't run after love. She draws it in. Who doesn't shout to be seen. She whispers and the whole room pays attention. And if you've ever felt like you're doing everything right, but still feel invisible, this is for you. Not for him, not for anyone else. Press that like button, subscribe if it feels good, because what we're after here isn't surface level advice. This is soul deep work. Now stay close. Picture this. You walk into a room. You don't say a word. You're not wearing something flashy. You're not putting on a fake laugh. You're just calm. Eyes steady. A quiet smile that says, I know something you don't. He notices you before he even knows he's noticed you. There's a shift in the air, a flicker of curiosity. That's you. Not performing, just being. That is presence with pressure. Like standing a little too close to a candle without knowing why the air feels warmer. That kind of pull doesn't come from memorizing lines. It comes from knowing how to use your voice like music. Knowing that silence is just as powerful as sound, that rhythm is felt, not explained. But somewhere along the way, someone made you believe that to be seductive, you had to be loud, obvious, almost begging for attention. That to hold a man's gaze, you had to try hard. But what if I told you the women who stay in a man's thoughts don't try? They suggest. They play. They plant one simple sentence and let it echo inside him for days. That's what we're unlocking. Because when a woman knows how to turn up the heat with grace, when she knows how to say just enough to let his mind fill in the rest, she becomes the woman he compares everyone else to. And it's not about clothes or how much you reveal. It's how you carry yourself. How you hold a room, how you rest in your own power, like a queen who doesn't need a crown to be seen. So if you're ready to become the woman who walks into a man's life and lingers in his mind long after you've gone, stay with me. Because this isn't about touching his body, it's about whispering into his mind. Once you learn how to speak in symbols, in timing, in energy, not just in words, you won't just attract him. You'll become unforgettable. Let's begin with something simple. The whispered suggestion. The most powerful words, they're the ones that give his imagination room to do the work. The ones that don't shout. The ones that let him fill in the spaces. Because when it comes to attraction, the loudest voice rarely lasts. It's not the woman who talks too much or overshares that stays with him. It's the one who can drop a single playful line so light it barely lands, and yet days later he's still thinking about it. Try something like, you and me, we'd get into trouble together. Sounds like nothing, right? Just a casual tease, but say it calmly, with quiet confidence, not with a giggle, not like you're nervous. Drop it in the middle of a conversation that has nothing to do with flirting, and then keep going. No follow-up, no waiting for a reaction. That's how you sneak into his thoughts. That's how you crack open a door in his mind without ever asking permission. Imagine you're sitting across from him, the lights are low, music's soft like it's pulling you both a little closer. He's telling you a simple story, maybe about something funny that happened in college. You smile, nod, lean in just slightly, and then, almost as if it just slipped out, you say, "You and me would probably be a problem." Then you smile, not big, just that tiny curve of mischief, and change the topic. That's not just flirting, that's giving his mind a scene to replay. And maybe you're thinking, what if he doesn't say anything back? What if I read the moment wrong? It's the truth. Your power doesn't depend on how he reacts right away. Your power is in the impression you leave, that little picture you painted, that emotional charge you planted like a seed. The hidden part of his mind doesn't respond to logic, it responds to suggestion, to emotion, to story. So when you say something like, "you and me," you're not asking for anything. You're offering him a little dream, a spark of what if. Most women don't even give that spark a chance. They stay in safe conversations. They focus on facts. They're so afraid to say the wrong thing that they end up saying nothing memorable at all. But you want more. You want to speak in a way that lives under his skin, that lingers, that stirs something he can't quite name. To do that, you have to stop needing to be certain. Let go of perfect timing. Step into mystery. These aren't dirty words. They're confident ones. They're the words of a woman who knows her voice is a gift, not a request. Say it like it's casual. Let it go like it meant nothing. But trust, he'll feel like it meant everything. And what's next? It won't come from your mouth, because your eyes, they'll be doing the talking next. Don't explain it. Let it drift behind you like a soft scent in the air. Because when a man remembers your eyes, long after you've walked away, you didn't just attract him. You rewired something deep in him. And now we won't speak at all. We'll leave him wondering with a sentence that never really ends. Seduction isn't about giving everything up front. It's about giving just enough to make him want the rest. One thing most women aren't taught is restraint. We're taught to give, to care, to express everything openly right away. And sure, that has a place, especially later on in love. But in the early spark, the power lives in the pause, in the delay, in the moment where you almost offer something golden, then close your hand just before he can take it. Try this. "I like that about you, but I'll tell you why later." Say it when he does something that shows strength, emotional or physical. Maybe he made a fast decision, handled something with calm, or protected you in a quiet way. Don't gush. Don't react right away. Let it breathe. Then, with a slight smile and a soft voice, say it, then move on, change the subject, not because you're playing games, but because you're creating tension. You've just opened a file in his mind that won't close. A sentence without an ending. And our minds hate unfinished stories. The mind always wants to understand, it wants to close the loop. So when you give him just a spark and walk away, he leans in, not physically, but emotionally, mentally. You create space he wants to fill. And when there's space like that, it grabs his attention. Maybe you're wondering, what if he forgets? What if he doesn't ask later? What if I seem distant? Let me be clear, the right man won't forget. Not if you said it with meaning. Not if your energy matched your words. Energy lingers, it stays after the words are gone. And if he doesn't ask why, perfect. That means he's still thinking. That means you've created mystery. You didn't hand him the answer, you let him feel the question. This isn't being cold, it's graceful restraint. A quiet, feminine kind of power. Most women give everything too soon. Every compliment, every story, every feeling, all on the table in the first few moments. And then they wonder why things fizzle. You're not here to pour out the whole candy jar. You're here to offer just one taste, then walk away with the jar still in your hands. Let him sit with it. Let him remember how it felt. Because a compliment means more when it's earned, when it's hidden inside something he has to lean forward to hear. Next, we'll use something even more powerful, your voice, but not for what you say, for how you say it. The most seductive sound in the world isn't loud. It's slow, soft, and certain. You might not realize just how much power your voice has, not just the message, but the tone. Sometimes the most magnetic thing a woman can do isn't to speak louder. It's to slow down and let her presence speak louder than words. This is what we'll call the voice drop. It's not flirting. It's not acting. It's resonance. A man doesn't just hear you with his ears. He feels you with his whole body. His senses pick up on tone before they even understand the meaning. You could say something as simple as stop it, but if you say it slowly, gently, with a spark of playfulness, it doesn't sound like a stop. It sounds like a pulse of electricity. Picture this. You're next to him, maybe at a party, or maybe at home, lights low. He leans in, says something teasing or bold. Instead of laughing too hard or reacting too quick, you lean in too. Not with your words, with your energy. And you say quietly, I like that. Don't tempt me. You're trouble, aren't you? Then you pause, let it sit, let it land. Don't rush to explain, because it's in that pause, the silence, that he feels you. It's not the sentence that seduces, it's the space around it. That still moment where his body recognizes something familiar, something deep. Most women either avoid this or go too far. They make it a performance. But real feminine power, it doesn't shout, it doesn't force, it's quiet, it's smooth, it's felt long before it's understood. You might think, but what if it feels weird? What if I sound silly? That's okay. Because you're not doing this to impress. You're doing this to awaken something ancient in him. A memory of a woman who doesn't try to be heard because she already knows she's unforgettable. When you get the tone right, low, steady, paired with a quiet pause, it's not just speaking, it's chemistry. It's a voice that stays with him hours later when he's trying to fall asleep, but keeps hearing the echo of your breath in his head. Now, let's get even quieter, more dangerous. Say one sentence. Don't finish it. No answer. Just a question that flips the room. There is power in what you don't say. What you hold back with grace becomes more magnetic than anything you give away freely. Let's talk about a small but powerful tool, the half confession. If I told you what I was thinking right now, you'd never look at me the same. That's it. Just one line, no details, no teasing smile, no flirty wink. Say it calmly, like it's just something you noticed. Then change the subject. Let the mystery hang. And the reason it works is because it stays unfinished. A sentence that feels heavy but never resolves. And the mind, it hates that, especially the masculine mind. It craves clarity, understanding. So when you give him something vague but emotional, you stir something deeper. You're not meeting him with logic. You're meeting him where emotion lives, in the part of him he doesn't fully understand. Picture the moment. You're close. Maybe sharing a laugh. Maybe something quiet and warm is already there. And then your eyes lock. You lean in and say it. Then you look away. Sip your drink. Let it float. You'll probably wonder, what if he pressures me to say more? What if it falls flat? That's okay, because this isn't about his reaction. This is about the feeling, the tension, the symbol. When you say that line with grounded mystery, not to trick him, not to chase attention, you step into the space where desire lives. And desire doesn't want full answers. It wants depth, space, shadow. You didn't give him an answer. You gave him something better, a symbol of something he doesn't yet understand but wants to. And when a man starts imagining stories around you, filling in blanks with his own curiosity, you've already become unforgettable. Next, we'll walk the edge of something that sounds like danger, a warning he'll want to hear over and over again. We'll call it the innocent threat. It's not about control or power over him. It's about emotional influence, a sentence that stirs his body and mind all at once. Try this. Careful, I might get used to you. It's simple, but said in the right moment, in the right tone, it's not simple at all. It's a spark. This isn't a real warning. It's playful, it's soft, but it carries something deeper, an invitation to be noticed, a way of saying you're starting to matter to me without clinging or chasing. He does something sweet. Maybe brings you something small. Maybe touches your back as you walk. Maybe he remembers something you said 2 weeks ago. You smile, look at him and say, careful, I might get used to you. Then you look away. Let the moment hang. But you didn't say you need him. You didn't say you're falling for him, but you hinted that he's starting to matter. And that hint, that suggestion, is what keeps him thinking. Because now he has to ask himself, did she mean that? Am I getting to her? And in the space between knowing and not knowing, you become unforgettable. What would it mean if she really did get used to me? That's the question you leave lingering in him. You've placed him inside a new kind of story, one where he might be the plot twist. And men love being the plot twist, the part that changes everything. The hidden parts of our mind respond best to contradiction, light and shadow, sweetness with danger. And that gentle warning you gave him, it walks that line perfectly. It's soft, but it carries emotional weight. And that, right there, is what pulls him in. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but what if I sound too tender? What if he doesn't respond? What if he takes it the wrong way? Here's the truth. It's not about the line, it's about your energy when you say it. You don't say it like you're unsure. You don't say it hoping for a reaction. You say it with a calm smile, with your chin up, with a little knowing spark in your eyes. Not as a need, not as a test, but as a woman who knows exactly who she is. You're not asking for more. You're simply letting him know he's starting to matter. You've marked the space between you as sacred. And that kind of confidence, it's quiet, it's magnetic, it can't be faked. The kind of woman who can admit that something is affecting her without falling into it is the kind of woman who stays in his mind. Not because she tries to, but because she's already chosen to be unforgettable. And now we're not going to say anything at all. Not even a look. This next move is about silence. It's about timing. It's about when you decide to pull back right when the energy is at its highest. The most powerful moment in a kiss is the second right before it happens. That breathless pause, that stillness. That's what stays with him. This last move might be the most powerful of all. And it doesn't require a word, a touch, or even eye contact. It's the moment when everything is flowing, when you're both locked in. Laughing, talking, maybe he brushes your hand, and the energy between you is alive, sparking like static in water. Right then, you pull back just a little. You break eye contact, you shift your body, you smile and say, anyway, did you end up trying that place you mentioned? Something simple, light, and in that tiny shift, you didn't break the moment, you deepened it. Because now you've created emotional contrast, warmth, then a breath of cool air. Intimacy followed by a little distance. And his body, without even realizing, starts to feel the difference. Even if it's only for a moment, even if he can't explain it. When everything flows too smoothly, it becomes background noise. But when something shifts, when there's a pause, a silence, a slight withdrawal, it wakes him up. The ones who leave the deepest marks aren't the women who give all of themselves all the time. They're the ones who know when to hold and when to pull back. The ones who understand rhythm. Or maybe you're wondering, but what if he thinks I've lost interest? What if I ruin the moment? What if he pulls away too? He won't. Not if you do it with warmth. Not if it's grounded. You're not going cold. You're not pushing him away. You're just letting the moment breathe. And when you do that, you're teaching him something, that your energy isn't constant, that it's not always there overflowing, that it's special. And that makes it something he wants to chase. Think of music. The best songs rise, drop, pause. They make you lean forward in the quiet right before the chorus. That's what you're doing. You're letting him feel the difference. Letting silence do what sound sometimes can't. And this isn't manipulation. This is mastery. It's understanding that stillness has weight, that your presence is most powerful when it's not always flooding the space, when it moves in waves. He'll feel the contrast between your closeness and your pause. And that feeling, it echoes. So the next time everything feels perfect, don't rush. Don't overfill the space. Pull back just a bit. Say less. Let silence come in and settle. If he's truly connected to you, he'll feel the shift. He'll notice the space. And he'll want to come closer again. Because when a man starts to feel your absence as much as your presence, that's when the real magic happens. That's not just attraction. That's imprint. That's a memory being made.